This file should not exist. I know that because it arrived without a sender, without a routing tag, and without a clearance header. No department, no division, no classification stamp. It appeared in my queue at 8:17 on a Tuesday morning, between a procurement discrepancy and a routine compliance audit. Same font, same formatting, same dull grey interface we use for everything else. The subject line read, "Administrative Irregularity Review, Action Required." That alone wasn't unusual. What was unusual was the attachment. The file name was just a string of characters. No extension, no prefix, no case number. I hovered my cursor over it and waited for the metadata panel to load. It didn't. I clicked it anyway. The system froze for 3 seconds. Not a crash, not an error. Just nothing. Cursor locked. Clock stopped updating. Even the background hum of the office seemed to flatten, like someone had muted the room. Then everything resumed. The file opened. The first page was a cover sheet. Not a classified one, not marked confidential. No warnings, no redactions. Just text. Property status. Occupied registered residence, 0-meter activity. Normal, below that a single line. Subject flagged during routine cross-system reconciliation. No subject name, no address, no ID number. I scrolled. The second page was a form, standard administrative layout, boxes, fields, check marks. Most of it was blank. One field wasn't. Subject designation, pending that word again. Pending. I checked the file properties. Creation date was listed as last modified. File size fluctuated as I watched it. Not by much, a few bytes. Enough to notice. I leaned back in my chair and glanced around the office. No one was looking at me. No alarms, no alerts, no sudden emails telling me I'd accessed something I shouldn't have. That happens sometimes, usually immediately. Nothing happened. I kept reading. The next section was labeled Interaction Log. The first entry, Entry 001. Type, Address Verification Source. System, Municipal Utilities. Result, Inconclusive timestamp followed. Then a note. Subject confirmed non-resident status. System response inconsistent. I frowned. Inconsistent how? The log didn't say. Below it another entry. Entry 002. Type, Record Reconciliation Source. System, Civic Database. Result, Loop detected. Loop detected. That was not a phrase used lightly, or often. I searched the internal glossary out of habit. No results. The third entry made my fingers stop on the mouse. Entry 003. Type, Escalation Source, System unknown. Result, Protocol engaged, no protocol name, no description, just that, engaged. I scrolled further. The file shifted again, not visibly, but the scroll bar jumped slightly, like something had been inserted above while I wasn't looking. A new section appeared. Subject profile. Finally, I thought, a name, an identifier. There was none. The fields were there, but the values were blank. Name, date of birth, current address. One line was filled. Known threat level, none that was oddly reassuring. Below it, another line. Known risk. Vector administrative. I sat up straighter. Administrative risk is not a category we use for people. It's used for systems, processes, software interactions that can cause cascading failures if mishandled, not individuals. I checked the audit trail on the right-hand panel. It showed one prior access. Time-stamped. Yesterday, at 2:14 a.m. user ID, redacted. I wasn't on shift yesterday. I hadn't logged in remotely. I knew that because remote access requires a secondary token, and I would have received a notification. I didn't. I clicked the user ID. The system froze again, 3 seconds. Then a dialog box appeared. Access details unavailable. No error code, just that sentence. My phone buzzed on the desk, an automated calendar reminder, a meeting I was already late for. I ignored it. I scrolled. The next page was titled Observed Effects. This part read less like a report and more like an internal note that had never been cleaned up. Subject interactions produce anomalous responses across unrelated systems. Examples followed. A parking citation generated an emergency services cross-check. A change of address request triggered a data integrity alert. A utility audit resulted in a security protocol activation without a defined threat. Each example ended the same way. Manual override applied. Except the last one. Entry 009 override. Failed, no explanation, no follow-up. The page ended abruptly. I expected the file to end there. It didn't. Another page loaded on its own. This one was shorter, centered text. Termination event, pending. I stared at it longer than I should have. Termination of what? A program, a file, a process, or a subject? There was a cursor blinking beneath the text, like a form field waiting for input. I didn't type anything. I closed the file. The system hesitated, then returned me to my task list. The file was gone, no longer in the queue, no record of it having been opened. No entry in my activity log. I searched for the subject line. Nothing. I searched for the string of characters from the file name. Nothing. I checked my recently opened files. Nothing. For a moment, I wondered if I'd imagined it. Then my inbox refreshed. A new message appeared. From System Notification Subject, Access Recorded. The body was a single sentence. Case 014 has been opened. Below it, a timestamp, 8:23 a.m., and one final line. Please proceed according to protocol. There was no protocol attached, and no way to respond. I sat there, staring at the screen, with the strange, creeping certainty that whatever I had just opened had been waiting for me. After the notification arrived, nothing happened. That was the worst part. No follow-up email, no supervisor stopping by my desk, no automated lockout, no security call asking me to explain why I had accessed a file without a clearance header. The system behaved as if everything was normal. I tried to work. I opened a procurement spreadsheet. I reviewed 2 minor discrepancies. I answered a message from accounting with a sentence I didn't remember typing. Every few minutes, I glanced at the corner of my screen. 8:41 a.m., 8:42 a.m., 8:43 a.m. Time was moving. That helped, a little. At 9:06, I did something I wasn't supposed to do. I searched the internal archive for case 014. The search bar accepted the query, the loading wheel spun, then a message appeared. No matching results found. I removed the space. Case 014. Same result. I tried just the number. 014. This time, the system paused. 3 seconds. Then a single result appeared. Not a file. A reference. Cross-system index pointer. Restricted. The pointer wasn't clickable, but it was highlighted. That meant it existed. I checked the access details. Clearance required. Unknown. I had never seen that before. Clearances are numeric, sometimes alphanumeric, always defined. Unknown isn't a category. I hovered over it. A tooltip appeared. Clearance level not enumerated. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't click it. Instead, I did the safest thing I could think of. I logged out. The system asked me to confirm. I confirmed. The screen went black. Then the login prompt returned. I waited a full minute before typing my credentials. Everything loaded normally. My inbox was still there. The spreadsheet was still open. But something had changed. There was a new tab in the interface. I was certain it hadn't been there before. The label was simple. Linked records. I clicked it. The system froze. 3 seconds. Then it opened. The page listed entries in a vertical column, dates on the left, system names on the right. Most were municipal, civic, utility-related. Each entry had a small icon next to it. Green check marks, yellow warnings, red symbols I didn't recognize. I scrolled. The further back I went, the stranger it got. A library card issuance from 2014 had a yellow warning. A school district database query from 2011 showed a red symbol. A voter registration update from 2009 was marked escalated. None of these systems talk to each other. They aren't supposed to. I clicked one, a parking permit application. The details panel opened. The applicant name field was blank, but the notes field wasn't. System response delayed. Manual confirmation required. Below it, a timestamp, 2:14 a.m. That time again, I filtered by timestamp. Dozens of entries collapsed into view, different years, different systems, same minute, 2:14, every time. I leaned back slowly, aware of my breathing in a way I hadn't been before. I wasn't looking at one incident. I was looking at a pattern. The next entry I clicked wasn't municipal. It was internal. Source system, compliance oversight. Action, review initiated result. Aborted reason for abort. Reviewer unavailable. Reviewer, singular. I checked the audit trail. Reviewer ID, redacted. But the access time was there. Yesterday, 2:14 a.m. My phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't a calendar reminder, it was a system message. Background reconciliation in progress. Please do not power down. I hadn't requested any reconciliation. I minimized the window. The tab stayed visible. I closed it. It reopened on its own. A new entry appeared at the top of the list. Timestamp, current, source system, internal access log action, observer flagged observer. That was a word we used in simulations, not in production systems. A side panel slid open without me touching anything. Observer interaction detected. Below it, a short paragraph. User exposure to case 014 exceeds baseline parameters. I felt my mouth go dry. Exposure, I scrolled. Secondary effects may include delayed recognition, procedural drift, and recursive access. Recursive access. I didn't know what that meant, but I didn't like the sound of it. I reached for my phone to take a photo of the screen. The camera app opened. The screen went black, not powered off. Just black. The reflection looking back at me didn't feel quite right. I lowered the phone. The tab was still there. Another line appeared. Subject proximity increasing. I whispered, "What subject?" The system didn't respond. Instead, a document opened automatically. A transcript. Administrative audio. Low quality. Time-stamped. The first line was marked, "Begin authorization, civic utilities." The voice that followed was calm, neutral, unremarkable. It said, "I'm calling to confirm that service should remain active." I froze. The voice continued, "I'm at the mailbox right now." I knew the words. I had read them the night before. Hearing them was different. The cadence was wrong, not rushed, not hesitant, certain. "I'm the only reliable contact for this property." The transcript paused. Then a system annotation appeared. Voice print confidence, high. I closed the document. Another message replaced it. Unauthorized review detected. For the first time, an error code appeared. ERR 014. Below it, a recommendation. Discontinue interaction. Await further instruction. I stood up. My chair rolled back, bumping into the desk behind me. A few heads turned, then looked away. No one asked if I was okay. No one ever does. I logged out again. This time the system didn't ask for confirmation. The screen went black, then white, then the login prompt returned. The extra tab was gone. The file was gone. Everything looked exactly like it had before, except for one thing. There was a new notification waiting in my inbox. From System Notification Subject. Escalation acknowledged. The body was longer this time. Your interaction with Case 014 has been recorded. Containment measures are under review. Please remain available. Below that, a final line. Further access will be scheduled. I checked the time, 2:14 p.m., exactly 12 hours after the original access time. For the first time that day, I wondered if the system wasn't reacting to the subject at all, but to anyone who noticed them. And I realized, with a slow, sinking certainty, that the file hadn't been sent to me by accident. It had been sent because I was already part of it.